all important. Now let's take a look at the 8 athletes in the running still. As you can see, there's a couple of French archers in there, a couple of Spanish archers, and then, well, an all-Turkish third quarter-final. I'm Karim Bashir, and joining me for this very exciting day is former world number 1, Nikki Hunt. The tension is pretty high, and that wind looks like it might well play a part today.
Yeah, that could really open things up. You know, massive pressure on today, these Olympic spots. So, yeah, let's see who can make them.
Absolutely. As you can see, the archers are already out for quarter-final number 1.
On target number 1, representing Spain, Elia Canales. On target number 2, representing France, Melanie Gaubil. The line judge of this match is Eleme.
Well, there we have it, the announcement of the archers for this first quarter-final. Elia Canales of Spain on target number 1. He's 19 years old and goes up against French archer Melanie Gaubil. And it will be Canales who will shoot first. World rankings exceptionally close. Canales world number 27, Gaubil world number 28. Now, let's keep things nice and simple, Nikki. Recurve discipline is the only archery discipline that goes to the Olympic Games. And effectively, the simplest way of putting this is, if you win a quarter-final, you book a quota place for your country. Is that right?
That's right, yes. It's up to the country to decide which archer goes, but it's best of 5 sets here to decide it.
So, Canales of Spain, been performing very well recently, will get us underway. This will be on the line, so gets a 9 to start with.
Eight.
Better sighter for Canales in the first arrow.
Yeah, some really good group in there. 2 high left arrows, just adjusting their sight there to get them into the 10. Both right for the French archer.
Well, that adjustment worked well for Canales. She's put this one out of reach and will get the first 2 set points here. Gaubil will be keen to keep improving on her score. Just outside the 10 ring, so into the 9, so 26 for Gaubil. What do you think of the start so far, Nikki?
Yeah, you know, they've come into this arena. They probably don't know exactly what the conditions are like. So they've got some hedges down this right-hand side, so that can change the conditions from the middle of the field that we can see behind where some archers are practicing there. So, you know, you just got to get into this match. That first end's out the way. We're into another set now, so you know, it's important just to push that reset button and get back into your game.
Yes, a reminder for all those that just want a refresher on the scoring system. Each set of 3 arrows per archer is measured independently of the others. If you win a set, you get 2 set points. If you level with your opponent, you get 1 point each, which means you get no points on the target.
Yeah, it's best of 5, so if you reach 6, you've won. If they tie up at 5 all, then we're going to go to the shoot-off.
It's very early days here on this qualifying Friday. Very unusual for archery happening on a Friday, but this is part of the European Championships. And we've got, well, the best part of 5 hours of live coverage here, because once we've been through the women's quarterfinals, we'll go straight into the men's quarterfinals, all for 4 spots in each gender. for individual spots. The only athletes able to compete in this are athletes from countries that haven't already qualified in this discipline. It's time for set number 2. Well, that's gone wildly off to the left, drifting off to the right in the first set, corrected a little bit for the final arrow, but Gaubil's gone wide for a 6 there. Both going left there, Nikki.
Yeah, I think there might be a change in the conditions. We can see these big feather flags behind the archers, giving us some indication of what's happening with the wind. Into the middle, she really needed that. We're right near the coast here on Antalya, so you know the conditions can change quickly and they can change through the day as well. Literally there's a coastal wind, so it might start from one direction and then change halfway through the day.
Canales looking very strong here, very relaxed, even affording herself a smile. You see the back shoulder and elbow of Melanie Gaubil.
Yeah, some real shaking there. There's so much pressure on these matches now. This is your chance to get to the games or not.
Beautiful stuff from Elia Canales, a 9-10-9, another 28, and she's gone 4 set points up. She could do this in 9 hours. It is possible. Now, look, let's just talk about Olympic qualification. Here, obviously, Canales is winning the battle in terms of the score, but also controlling her emotions and even affording herself a little smile. Gaubil struggling just a little bit. But the idea, the very simple idea here is that if you win your quarterfinal, you book your country a quota spot, 1 quota spot in the women's recurve in this situation. But it's a little bit more complicated than that.
That's right, yeah. You know, we've got a couple of countries of the same countries going through here. So if the same country wins 2 spots, so if Spain go through and win 2 spots, then we're going to go back to count back. So the score here is important. Melanie wants to get her points on the board, so she might be a best loser and still steal one of those places.
Yeah, more on that as this competition develops, but as Nikki Hunt said, we've got a couple of Spaniards, a couple of French archers, got 2 Turks who actually go up against each other in quarterfinal number 3, but only 1 place is available per country. So if the 2 Spaniards win, they still only get 1 spot. Gaubil here up against it, 4 set points to 0 down as we go into set number 3. See the wind blowing around in the background there, and these arrows are flying all over the place, some going to the right, some going to the left. You have to think it is the wind that is playing its part here. Beautiful again from Canales, though. She has got control of her emotions and she's shooting beautifully.
I think you can see a huge difference. Look at the shaking here, the French archer, the nerves. You can see her getting to her shooting a better 9 there, but you know, Elia Canales, you know, she's just, look at her, she just looks so much more in control. She looks calm, relaxed, following her process. She certainly looks like the better archer at the moment. I think she knew that one had probably aimed a little left. You could see that front arm trying to pull over to the right, trying to move the arrow. Little smile, she knew she probably wasn't quite aiming in the right place.
Well, nice to know what the arrow is, but look at the tremble there. Oh, but it is in the 10, and that is exactly what Gaubil needed. Now, Canales here needs a 10 to draw level. That won't be enough to put her over the winning line here, but anything less than a 10 and Gaubil's back in this. It's into the 8, and so Gaubil gets her first 2 set points. Telling Nikki in the, well, it looked like, as you said, Canales knew what that second arrow was doing.
Yeah, I think she just probably got her aiming spot wrong. You could see the flags just going over to the right. Perhaps she aimed off too far left, and a bit of a smile, you know, I aimed off too far and it went exactly where I aimed it probably. That can happen. She's got to reset herself now, get back into the match again, but you know, it's all to play for. If Melanie comes out and wins this next set, we're going to be all square at 4-all, so it's still wide open.
And that's the key thing, isn't it? Because, as you said, if we get to a situation where two athletes from the same country go through, and in the women's that can only be two athletes from Spain or France go through to the semi-finals, we will go to this countback. The Olympic place is banked, that fourth Olympic place, and so the scoring here is so important for Gaubil, and then she's got to be hoping to cheer on De Velasco in the final quarter-final if she wasn't to make it through, but of course she still could here.
Yeah, she's got to hope for the best score she can. She really wants to get 4 points on the board if she were to lose. I mean, it could go either way here. Let's see.
Well, time for set number 4. Can Melanie Gaubil of France control those nerves? World number 28 at 23 years old still trails and will shoot first in the fourth. Very close. I think it might well go to a measure. It does look like it has been asterisked on the scoreboard. Looking a little bit more solid, but as you can see, our windsock, our digital windsock, showing that wind blowing all over the place, left and right.
Bit of a longer hold there, but it paid off, didn't it? Straight in the 10 again. She's looking much more confident now.
The look of determination on Melanie Gaubil's face. Another long hold. Just pulling off to the left. So a 28 at the moment that could potentially get marked up to a 29. So a 10 required, whatever the case here. Canales, she's gone into the 9, so it's a 27. Nick will, of course, be measured. Gaubil's first arrow, but she's leveled this match up at 4 set points each. Look, it's really difficult at the start of 4 hours of archery to overdo it, but this is for a place at Tokyo, not necessarily for these archers, but you've got to imagine France and Spain are looking at these two individuals as favourites potentially for the Olympic spot should they win it.
Yeah, you've got to impress your country here. You know, you want to get through all the way through this tournament and win it. So, you know, it's really important how you're performing to show your federation that you are the archer to take that place as well. Not only if you want it for the country, but you're the archer to take it. So they may well have their own selection processes still to come, but you know, there's only 49 days to the Olympic Games. So some countries say to their athletes, you know, go out there, if you win the spot, it's yours. So, you know, anything could happen, and they've just got to deal with this pressure and do the best they can.
Yeah, they certainly do. I mean, there's a chance, depending on those national selection criteria, that the loser of this match could still be standing on the line in Tokyo. But the only way to be sure, certainly to get your country's spot, is to win this match. At 4 apiece, we go into the 5th, and we're back to Canales, who was getting some emotional support in the break, to shoot first. Very long hold here. And that's drifted out into the 7. Didn't look as comfortable on that hold as she has done in a couple of her previous longer holds.
Wow, a big arrow there. So right out in the fire, she looked so confident and happy. You know, I just wonder if that was the wind, or I couldn't see anything there. It was different about the shot. Oh, and again another one over to the left. So perhaps the conditions, both archers, I mean, one left-handed archer, one right-handed archer. So, you know, might be the wind that's pushing the arrow over.
It's incredible that both of them went so far left, and a much faster shot from Gaubil for a second arrow. Back in the middle for Canales, and that has put this one out of reach. But two curious arrows from the archers, one each. Gaubil here, well, no chance of winning this match. Finishes with a 9 though, and it is Elia Canales who has taken this one with a very low scoring 5th set. 24 points for her and a 6-4 win for Elia Canales of Spain. A curious match, Nikki, a curious match. Gaubil absolutely in pieces, understandably. Her chance place at the Olympic Games all but gone, certainly for now.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? You know, every archer's dream is to get to the Olympics. You know, certainly recurve archers. You know, it means everything. It is the pinnacle of the sport. This just means so much to them. You can see the emotion pouring out because 49 days to go. You know, you're booking your country spot. May well be your spot. You know, it's a huge deal.
Yeah, contrasting emotions, but great to see the two athletes embrace. And you could see in Canales' face the true sympathy she felt for her opponent. It could easily have gone the other way. And it's Canales who's gone through 6-4 in the first quarterfinal, booking a spot, a quota place for the Spanish Archery Federation for Tokyo 2020. We take a look back here, Nikki. You talked about how calm she looked, how good she looked. There was one spurious arrow that went off, but she knew that it was off, so she stayed in the groove, she stayed up with it, and then slightly fell apart.
Yeah, she just generally looked more comfortable, more confident in every shot, whereas Melanie, we could physically see the shaking, but you know, even with that shaking, she was able to hit the middle. So I think conditions certainly played a part. As I say, we're very near the coast here, and the wind can change. It's a tricky field to read, lots of flags out there to watch, but yeah, overall, Canales was the one to take it.
Gracious in the end in victory, shaking the hand of Melanie Gaubil, but can't contain emotions. I don't know what the Spanish Archery Federation selection criteria is, but that says to me